My name is Paige Turner. In this video, we will learn about the Add Update Form business rule. This rule gives you the option to kick off a new process and to bring data from one process to another. With this rule, you can create new forms or update existing forms. This rule can be applied to forms in the current site or on a different site. Let's take a look at the rule settings. In the title box, you can define a title for your rule and select which event this rule will apply to. For example, you can use this rule on the flow loaded event, flow started or completed, and step started or completed. The rule condition section allows you to control in more detail when the rule is executed. If you don't set any conditions, the rule will execute automatically. If you set conditions, then the rule will only execute when the conditions are met. In the first line of the rule action section, you need to provide the URL of the site containing the flow used to create the new form. This could be any site in the current site collection. In our example, we will use a flow from the same site. In this case, we can copy the URL address from the top tab of the page. If your flow is located on a different site, you need to enter the correct address of that flow location. Next, you need to provide the username required to access the site above. This user needs to have permissions to this site to be able to access it. Enter the password of that user. Once you've provided the URL, the username, and the password, click Connect to establish a connection to the site. After the connection has been established, you will see a drop-down list containing all the flows from the destination site. Select the relevant flow. We will use this rule to create a new form from the same flow, the Leave Request flow. If you want to create a new form, select the Add Form Item option here. When this rule executes, the new process starts. This rule gives you the ability to start other processes defined anywhere in the same site collection, other flows from the same site, or even the same process. We selected the same process. This means that on the completion of the current Leave Request form, a new Leave Request will be created automatically. If you check the Submit Form button, the steps containing the questions to be updated will be submitted after the form has been created and the questions updated. If you don't check this, the form will be saved as draft and the questions data will be editable. If you want to, in the scenario where you map flows located on a different site, and one of the mapping questions in the rule editor is a file upload question, select the Upload Documents to Target Site button. This will copy form documents from the current site to the Destination Documents library site. In this section, you need to choose information that has to be copied from one form to another. Source field contains a drop-down list with all the questions in the current form, plus the form ID and the form title under the form property. If you map the form ID property of the current form to a question in the remote form, it will help you to use the remote form to reference the original form and update the original form if required. Target question contains a drop-down list with all the questions of the flow used to create the new form. We will select the form ID question from the first step. In the Output Mapping section, you can map form properties of the newly created form to the original form. When the new form is created, the form ID and the form title are retained. You can use these properties to map the new form to questions in the original form. This allows you to access the new form or update steps in the new form. The Step Current Form Question tab contains a drop-down list with all the questions from the current form. The From Remote Form field contains the form ID and the form title. If you select the Stop Execution option when rules validate, no further rules are executed. As a default, all rules are enabled. If the rule is not enabled, it will not execute. This is how you can use this rule to automatically start a new process. Now, let's take a look at a more complicated example. In order to demonstrate this, we need to have two flows built: the master flow and the sub flow. The process will start by creating a master flow. After submitting the first step, the new form, subflow, will be generated automatically. Save this step. You can see that two different forms were created: masterflow, form number 66, and the subflow, form number 67. Open form 67, enter some data in the fields, and submit the step. Now go back to the master flow, enter values into the fields, and submit the form. Values from these questions will be copied to the appropriate section in the subflow. If you open form 67 again, you can see that the information entered in the last step in the master flow has been used to populate the first step in the subflow. To recreate this scenario, please follow these steps. First of all, you need to build two processes, one which starts the process and the other one which is to be updated. In our example, we are using the master flow and the subflow. The Add Update Form rule will be used twice in the master flow. On the first step, it is used to create a new form, and then, when the form is completed, it is used to update that form. Make sure that the selected event is set as completing. Enter the URL for the current site, including username and password. Then click Connect. Select Subflow Form to be updated from the drop-down. Check the Add Form item. We will only map one question here. Select the name questions in the source and destination flows. In order to update the newly created form, we need to know the ID of that form. The Output Mapping section allows us to store remote form ID and title into any question in the current flow. Please note that this question can be hidden from the end user view. Next, the Add Update rule will be added at the flow level. The event should be set as completed. This time, we want to update the form item, so select the appropriate option here. In this section, we need to select the question where the remote form ID is captured. This ID will be captured in this question after the Add Update rule executes. In this example, we will map all questions from the second step of the master flow to the first step of the subflow. Save the rule and the flow. First of all, you need to build two processes, one which starts the process. Now you know how to use the Add Update Form business rule. Thank you for watching.